do that down. He said, well, I had something happen when I got the cars taken out.
We're live. Very good. Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And welcome to the Glens Falls Industrial Development Agency January 11th board meeting. Happy New Year, everyone. And we have a full quorum.
Yeah.
All our board members are here. Is Jeff joined yet?
He's right in front of me.
I
snuck in. I'm right down.
I have my readers on and not my, okay, so I can read this on my, okay. So welcome, everybody. Let me start with, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll start with administrative reports. And just briefly, Mark Toomey and I met with our rep at the Glens Falls National Bank last week to go over just all of our account information. One of the reps that we had previously dealt with left a couple of months ago, and so Megan Bowen is our rep now, and that's who we met with. And we have a couple of documents. Previously, we had approved to add 2 check signers, Denise Conklin and John Cordes, to the accounts. And so we're finishing up that paperwork today and delivering all of that to the bank. Once we get that done, we're in good shape on those accounts. We don't need to vote on that at all. We've already passed resolutions authorizing that, and this is really just bank paperwork at this time. And that's all I've got. Jeff, anything you want to add?
As far as, of course, the holiday season, not a lot going on, as you can imagine. But we have been in a lot of conversations with different organizations and entities that are looking at projects, some existing and some prospective new projects. I will say that we've heard from the state that there is a prospect, I haven't gotten anything specific about it, that there's going to be a new Restore New York round coming out early this year. So if that's true, those seem to be projects that sort of lend themselves typically to support from the IDA. So one of the things we're doing right now, and I've been in touch with several different developers, prospective developers, is trying to identify a property that would be appropriate. There are some that we've identified that we've had in mind for a while, but obviously there needs to be an owner that is willing and able to sort of make a project work. And in some cases, if a project has been in the same hands for a long time and nothing has happened, that doesn't evoke a lot of confidence in the state's ability for that developer to sort of make the project, restore the project. So it's a little bit of a dance, and again, it hasn't been announced officially, but we're going to keep an eye on that. And I mentioned that to members of the board because if anybody has any thoughts about, just to clarify, this is a city grant. Restore New York is unusual for Empire State Development in that it's a grant that the city applies for on behalf of another project, of somebody else's, typically a developer's project. It doesn't have to be. The city, as you might know, has an existing Restore New York grant for the demolition of the South Street buildings and the stabilization of the LDC properties over on South Street. But typically what happens, as it was the case, as Jim Thatcher knows because he worked on it, with Warren Street Square, the city assigned, if you will, the grant to Peter Hoffman to restore Warren Street Square. We're in the same process right now with Andy Allison, his property over on 178, 180 Maple, that we're working with him. So it's a good, promising project or a grant opportunity, mainly because historically this grant has come out about once every 3 or 4 years. For whatever reason, and I'm guessing it has to do with all the infrastructure money that's been floating around, that there were 2 rounds of it. It was somewhat held up a little bit by COVID, but they had 2 rounds right on top of each other in 2022 and into early 2023, and now they're again. And I've heard this from a reliable source, although it's not been. There's nothing official about a release date yet. So we're hoping to look forward to that. But that's about the only thing that's going on this month.
Those grants help with construction, reconstruction of old buildings.
And prospectively demolition as well. I mean, it's sort of ironic that they call it restore when you
Right.
could be
You can
destroyed.
knock down.
But, you know, it is what it is. So, and as I said, in the case of South Street, you know, we tore down the juice and jar and OTB and the stabilization of those retaining walls along the 36 South and 45 South were also done as part of that.
So once they announce, what's typically the amount of time that you have before you have to submit?
Not long. Jim, I don't know if you remember, it's not very long. It might be 6 to 8 weeks between.
Well, that's why Ed always liked to have shovel-ready projects.
Correct. That's why you
Yeah.
want to have something in your pocket because
Yeah.
there's not a huge amount of time. And I assume that's probably intentional. You know, they're looking for people that have been sort of chomping at the bit for a while.
Who really want to
who
do it,
really want to do
right?
something.
We have some, I don't, I hate the word significant because my perspective as being mayor is challenged all the time, but we need to do some repair work to the Glen Street wall. You mentioned wall, I kind of forgot that might be.
You mean going down to
possibilities.
the bridge?
Yeah, down to the bridge. We need to, that wall's been looked at in previous administrations and probably has $300,000-400,000 worth of work.
Oh,
Because I've yet to
shit.
see anything that doesn't, you know, it could be literally what you'd think of as $50,000 worth of work. And I've never seen a project yet not turn into several $100,000. So know that that's, I'm just thinking of it off the top of my head, so we should talk about that.
Yeah, although I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that this is for buildings because it's
yeah.
typically occupation.
You mentioned retaining wall.
Yeah,
I was-
yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, that-
Oh, no, no, that, yeah, I'm talking
it's
about the
this-
walls that were in the ground that are next to the
Oh,
incubator and hot shots
damn.
that they put in underneath to
Is the
stabilize the
square
basement.
nail in the city, I mean, so the property across from the Civic Center, at the base of the wall,
They're
is
renovating
the
it
square
now.
nail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the old
That they're
private shop.
renovating and they,
Yeah.
I think that
For
they,
Weber's.
Yeah, Christian and
Christopher.
Melanie Weber.
right. So would
It
I
would-
wonder if we could, you could tie
Oh,
it
yeah, oh,
into
right,
your
make that
wall
part of your
because
wall
it's,
problem.
yeah, right? You could tie it in,
Well,
It's
maybe.
an interesting point.
What
I'll-
about Sawyer's is right above it,
Right,
and that's gonna fall down if that wall falls.
Well, and
down.
it's not necessarily restricted to a single building either. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose you could get both of those properties plus, toss the retaining wall in as a,
right, as a necessary
yeah, that's a good point.
adjunct.
Good idea. I'll talk to Christian. My understanding, and I don't think he was saying this
Oldest
quietly,
building in
was
Glen.
Yes,
that Christian is actually looking to convert that or to turn that into a coffee roaster, a little space for coffee roasting. I guess they use a lot of coffee for their beer
yeah.
over
they
in
have
Common
coffee
Roots, and so he
cups.
said it's a lot
Very
cheaper
good,
for me to
Mike.
roast it myself. I mean, I don't think it's like a shop or anything, but then maybe they'll have a retail, I don't know. But I think they're gonna do that downstairs and then have something upstairs. So it's actually kind of project that might
Yeah.
lend itself to that.
Sure.
I mean, it has to be the issue, and again, this is why Sawyer's is gonna be much harder, because it's supposed to be, the building has to be substantially, if not entirely vacant. There might be a tiny amount of activity going on, but it's designed really for, places. that-
Rehabbing things to get them back to be viable.
And in many ways,
Sure.
it's like that, it's an extra bump, right? It's like even, that this building is beyond normal support. Excuse the pun.
So is there a dollar amount, the amount that we can,
I don't know if there is. Jim, you know if there's a cap on?
Last couple rounds was up to 2 million for a city of this size request,
Yeah.
but they knocked those down a little bit to do more awards.
Yeah, and the leverage is not substantial. I mean, this is I think they say it can be up to 80-20, meaning they'll pay 80%. In most cases, it's more the reverse. They're like a typical ESD program. They're looking to pay maybe 20 to 25%. But if you can, in some cases, if you can leverage that with things like historic tax credits and let's say IDA support, you can turn something, especially in buildings that are really historic. You don't want to tear them down, but it would be much easier to tear them down. Those are the kinds of situations where this kind of money would.
Can you apply the entire amount to just one project, or you
Yeah.
have to spread it out?
Yeah, no, that's what we did in the case of Andy Allison's project over on Maple Street, the Fortress Paper Building. They, and you could correct me, Jim, but I think they requested 1.5 million on, I think, about a $3.5 million project. The state came back and said, we can't give you 1.5, we can give you maybe $1 million. Can you do that? We went back and looked at the numbers, tried to sort of work that out. We said, you know, they were thinking, well, maybe we could take out this piece and take out that piece, and maybe we could make it work on a smaller budget. And they said, no, we weren't suggesting you lower the budget. We were just suggesting you lower what we give you to make the leverage look better. And
Right.
so that's what we did, and we're working with them now. You know, that building does qualify, for instance, for historic tax credits, although those have their own restrictions, right? I mean, in the case of that particular building, which is a warehouse, the windows don't lend themselves to too many other people-friendly uses. So converting to residential or even office in some of the upper floors is very hard because the historic tax credit.
If you want to keep.
If you want the historic tax credit.
Right.
Right? And so, you know, that's the playoff you have. So, and we've been talking to them, of course, if they can get to a position where they can move forward, I think the IDA would play a pretty important role in helping them as well. But I think they have to get there at least first.
Hey, Jeff, just a recommendation. I think it would be worthwhile for the city to create something on your website to list what the historic properties are. Those that are both, there's 3 districts, and then there are other properties that are considered historic, so people know. And maybe at some point, we could bring someone in and do kind of like a little information session at City Hall on the historic tax credit and the benefit of it. Because it is truly beneficial to developer owners of buildings if they wanted to use it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that would be a bad idea.
I think you're right. And of course, there is that, I'm trying to think of the name of the website that has all the historic buildings on it.
Is there one?
There's an acronym for it that I can't think of offhand. Anyway, we should, at the very least, we should have a link to that.
It may
Right.
be just a link to that.
Right.
If it
And
has.
it's a
if
pretty
it has-
comprehensive website, although it's not
is it the
especially user
state-
friendly.
Is it the state,
It's,
New York State?
Is it the one that SUNY developed?
no, this is, I'll
Okay.
find it.
Yeah.
If there is, then
It's
yeah.
a
just-
4-letter acronym, that's why I know it is.
Another point.
Mows, Howls, Pals, or something like that.
Not the 4-letter acronyms you use with me.
No.
The other corner.
Moving on.
Okay, all right, just a thought.
Yeah,
All right.
no, it's a good idea.
Well, those are good things, good to know, and, anyways, okay. So let's go to the minutes. We've got the minutes, from the December 14th meeting. Everyone's got a copy. Any changes, any questions? There being none, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays, any abstentions? There being none, the minutes are passed. Please get those babies posted up on the website. So we've got the financial report for 1 month ending January 31, 2024, and I know Mark's for audits probably coming up. Mark, do you want to share anything addition to what you've presented here?
The 90-day CD made $308 for the quarter. The Cheryl bill for $352. 40% my time, $208. And then the city checked CDC, and the CDC checked IDA, that's $7,500 due from went away.
And by the way, this is ending December.
Right, that was that.
31, 2023. It's not the end of January yet, so
Right.
that's not correct on the agenda.
Correct.
But,
Yeah.
so, that is our last report for 2023, and that basically is what summarizes what's going to be audited. So we will engage auditors very shortly to do that, so that by our annual meeting in the end of March, hopefully we'll have audits done.
I just wanted to mention, now that you've brought it up, I think I mentioned last meeting that I had been in conversations with Jean Lapper.
Yep.
She did contact me recently. I sent her last year's audits, which of course were easy enough to get. And she, as of the day before yesterday, was going to get back to me within 2 days, which would be today, to let me know. She was very open to the idea of doing the audit for the CDC, and was receptive to the possibility of doing it for the IDA as well. My understanding is we don't have any, we have a letter of engagement for them with Bonadio, I'm sorry, but no commitment to that. So if she can get back to me yet today or tomorrow, I don't know how we would approach that because I don't think we could wait until next meeting to decide something, could we? I don't know
We
if
have
that's
a
too late.
special meeting for CDC,
Right.
though. If it's just CDC.
Well,
then,
right, if it's just the CDC, we can do that. If it's,
it's
I'll
more.
forward it on to the board so you can take a look at it. We can
Okay.
see if there's a good place to go.
So when we engaged Bonadio, we did it through an RFP that I think the city issued
Yeah.
jointly. And so I don't know if we were all included in that, if there's any restrictions, so I'd go back and look.
My understanding is that the city controller indicated that the city has no long-term commitment. It's an agreement, but not a commitment.
Okay.
So,
No, but you might have to follow the process of going out to the RFP.
You may wanna
We've
take a
been-
look at that
We've been
RFP.
criticized in the past we stopped putting it out because people weren't bidding on it for years in a row.
Yeah.
And then we got cited for not having put
Put
it
it
out.
out.
And,
For
so
assuming no one
I
wants
don't-
yeah,
us.
right.
I don't believe it's as simple as just going with the lowest bidder. I think if she is interested, I think we'll have to do that process.
Yeah.
But we'll certainly, she indicates that, we'll go back to Suzanne, and we'll share with you what the next steps would be. How's that?
Yeah, I'd have
Okay.
Suzanne, have her
Absolutely.
advise us.
And for the
Yeah.
record, she is doing urban renewal, right, so that's
Meaning G.
helpful, yes, Jean, yes.
Oh, she, yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
she
knows.
did urban renewal last
Right,
year.
right,
Yep,
yes.
yep. And she's doing it again, at the minimum.
She's doing it again
she's
for
doing
the
it.
2023 year. yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So first, is there a motion to approve the financial report for December 31, 2023 as presented?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions, any nays? There being none, the report is approved and should be posted. Thank you. Payment of bills, our Schedule A has got 2 bills for this month.
Why isn't there a Fitzgerald Morris Baker and Firth bill?
Because I was on vacation last week.
Oh.
You weren't sitting at the opera ski doing, working up bills?
It was a bonus month.
Good for us.
Right. Until next month. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Another
Just
month to see
asking.
the-
Wanna make sure that we're
love that.
taking care of you.
December free.
Right.
All right, so we're only gonna pay the 2, and it's a total of $1,756.50. Is there a motion to pay the bills as presented? So moved.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions, any nays? If not, there are none, so moved. We'll pay those bills. Any other reports? Jeff?
No.
for us? No? Anything that you want to report on Market Square or Market?
Perhaps, but I'll delay that until the LDC
LDC,
meeting.
okay. No other business, and we don't need an executive session. Our next meeting is scheduled for February 8th at 8 a.m., same location. If there is any change on the audit information, then we may have to call a special, but otherwise, I think we are done for today. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Good. Good morning again. Let us open up the Greater Glens Falls Local Development Corporation meeting. And first on our agenda is administrative reports. So any corrections, I believe you all have in front of you the minutes held on December 14th. Anybody have any suggested corrections? Not hearing any. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 14th LDC meeting?
So moved?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Mayor, let me just add, if I could,
Mhm.
that similar to the IDA, I and you are check signers for the LDC, And Mark Toomey and I met with the bank rep last week to go over those accounts. And at that time, she asked that some additional documents be signed where there are some changes that are being made. There are two accounts, one account that's been closed and one additional account that I believe you're going to go and close in the coming days.
I think we have an appointment on Friday.
We're setting one up, yeah,
Setting one up.
I haven't set it up yet,
Yes.
And so, the documents that she asked us to sign, those are all being signed today. I don't think there's a need for any resolution related to that because we've passed resolutions in the past, but I just wanted to make sure it was in the minutes that that's what's going on.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Anybody, questions? Thank you. So moving to financial report, the month ending,
December 31st, yeah.
December
That's
31st.
incorrect as well.
There we go. So, Mark, discuss it, please.
End of the year.
End of year.
We just had the 990 report that Bonnadale did for 1,500, Fitzgerald built for 240. The typical monthly insurance for 1,331, and the 60% of my time for 311.81 cents.
There we go.
That's it.
Any questions? Do we have a motion to accept Mark's report?
So move.
Good second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Motion carries, thank you. Under, moving right on to the Schedule A and the payment of bills. Note, we had the new check being cut for Golden Monkey Lounge, which misplaced their original paycheck, so you'll see that we have that update.
Yeah, so the short answer with that is that they contacted us, was it late November that they said that they were going through their accounting and realized that they didn't have it and had lost the check. So we went to the bank, Mark went to the bank, the mayor signed paperwork to say the stop payment on that particular check. That's already been taken care of. Nothing has been, the check hasn't been presented, nothing's been taken out of the account. So the goal is just to go through the process and go get the approval again to make sure that we can write that check back to them and make them, well, I don't want to say make them whole, but to provide them with the grant money that we approved in October, right? Was it October? So, so that's what this is. It's
Just a reissuance of
Correct.
the check.
And they're not gonna lose this one?
if I could tell you that, Judy, I would. I anticipate that they won't. No, they've been very good in keeping up with us and keeping us updated both on that and on the great progress that they're making. Thanks to the $22,000 that the LDC's provided, the LDC and the block grant, have provided to them for their, $500,000 or $750,000 project there on South Street, right across from the Market Center.
Any questions?
So that's both
So
here
that's one
and
of
an approval for the, on the Schedule A.
Right, so Schedule A, Mark, is there anything else on it worthy of note?
No, this is the insurance, typical insurance, 60% of my pay, and I'm the CEO for the fourth quarter. That's it.
Anybody have any questions about the payment of bills, Schedule A?
And the free month from.
Right. For which we'll send them a fruit basket.
Very nice.
Very
That's great. No, not hearing any questions, we have a motion to accept Schedule A.
So move.
I think she's got it.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Let's see. That would be Schedule A, the payment of the bills. Disbursement of grant funds, we have none this month. Pat, the banking update?
Yeah, Judy already mentioned it, but I wanted to make sure that we were clear that the board approved, I think it was in May, it might have been in June, the transferal of funds and the closing of the different accounts. The arts account got closed. We're closing this payroll account that the LDC had, that Ed had set up so he could pay a staff member, I think, to do administrative work. So we moved, we're 77 cents richer because we moved 22 cents out of one of those accounts and 55 cents out of the other. And then the account that the mayor has to close is this payroll account that's got $250.83 in it. Again, why it was set up, I want to get it cleared up. So the goal of that was to try to get it cleared up before the end of the year, which we obviously didn't get to. But to get that payroll account closed as soon as we can, move that 250 in, and so that brings us down to 5 bank accounts rather than 8. Which
I can
No.
explain the existence of that account if you care.
I'm happy to hear it. Yes.
Okay,
The
so-
payroll account. You're talking
Back in the day, Ed split his time between county and us, right? And his assistant was also had to have her paycheck split between the county and us in order
Oh, I
the
see.
county refused to pay the full freight.
Of course.
What a surprise. So anyway,
Okay.
so that was what that was for.
Okay.
But we
And
still
there's a
have
whole-
7 accounts.
Is it 7? Okay, yeah, there's a whole, I was just actually gonna say that I haven't gotten to that list. There's a list, a spreadsheet of, the account names and the account numbers that Mark has, that will be, once we do this final process, will be updated on all of the accounts for all the different, the one for urban renewal, the one for IDA, the one for CDC, and the 57 for the LDC.
So I helped you to create that Excel spreadsheet, and I would
You might have
encourage
created
you.
it, actually, yes.
Yes, I would encourage you to keep it up. And
We will,
And I
right,
would
yeah.
add a column that explains which each account is for.
Sure, yep.
Because.
Future
right.
people,
Should be great.
No, right,
And-
yes, the
and every-
documentation is one of those things that we clearly need to do better on, yes.
Yeah, and the people who are check signers should get a copy of that so that they have.
That's a great idea,
those
yep,
accounts.
sure.
Okay,
And
and I'll take that stuff to the bank.
Friday appointment that we have, Pat? Is that
Yes,
you doing
right,
those?
yep, yep.
Okay.
In advance of that, I'll go with the other stuff that I'm supposed to take to them, so it's there before you get there,
All right. Thank
So,
you.
and I think
on your walk.
on my walk.
Right.
that's the only point that I wanted to make, just
Right.
was that we had talked about it
That
in
late deposit
May,
slot.
I think May or June, and that everything is together now, and tomorrow, we'll make the final
Yeah,
step.
yeah, tomorrow's
to-
Friday.
To smooth that all out a little bit, so we'll go from
I
10
know.
to 7 then. So that was it, there's no vote needs to be done there.
Okay, any questions? And that will move on to project reports, Market Center, Market Square, Jeff.
Yeah, just a quick update. I would say that there's no particular news, which in this case is good, which means Market Center is moving forward. You've probably seen, they slowed down work over the holidays, but they're back up running. As far as working on the footings, foundations for the Market Center. This is bunk off construction, and they'll be working through the winter. So we're still on a schedule to meet with, to have the facility up and operational by the end of September. At least that's the deadline, and no one's pushed us off that. So in the meantime, we have been talking to Bonaccio, right? They've been asking for some information. I don't know if you were aware, Judy, Kate Jarosh has left, and I think has left for warmer climes, as I understand it. She's either took a job or moved to Nashville or Tennessee somewhere.
Yeah, Nashville.
Yeah.
Is everyone moving there?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just had a neighbor move there.
Really?
Okay.
I got an
They're in
email.
Glens Falls. There's those are two destinations people seem to be
Glens Falls
flocking
and
to.
Nashville.
Glens
Yeah.
Falls and Nashville.
I got an email from her replacement, whose name escapes me. It's an
Oh,
Italian
shoot.
name, Joe Lucci, Steve.
Let's see.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Hopefully he doesn't watch this and feel
I'm
insulted.
not surprised
Um,
because Larry kept asking me about those projects, or about HCR stuff. And I said, what about Kate? And he said, no,
Oh, yeah.
don't CC her.
Ah.
So something must have been going.
Yeah.
Steve Licardi.
Yeah, Riccardi, I think. So he's been, I've been trying to get him up to speed with documentation and things like that. So, there was a flurry of activity. I thought, oh man, things are really, really going to move quickly. Well, no, he's just a new guy. So, anyway,
And I think their
False
consultant's
alarm.
no longer working for them.
what's that?
I think their consultant Lori is no longer working for them either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lori,
Yeah,
Lori something.
yeah, I didn't know that, but anyway.
I believe.
So, you know, we're still, as I think we mentioned even in the last meeting, you know, we had met with them previously and are looking to get some work done on 36 Elm and 45 South. We're still working with them. They have the list of things that need to get done, and we're gonna get some information back from them. We have a little bit of time, and we're hoping this sort of coincides with the announcement of the HCR tax credit forthcoming, at which time we think we can get moving pretty quickly. So, although I don't think it may be not entirely realistic to think that were things to fall into place, they would be done exactly in line with the market center. But at the moment, for the moment, it still seems reasonable to assume that there'll be phase one of Market Square and the market center would be pretty closely aligned as far as completion dates.
And just for the record, when those buildings get sold, right, there's a lot of carrying costs that the LDC is carrying right now that we will no longer have to carry,
Right.
including Mark's favorite monthly insurance, right, that is a significant draw, a significant economic draw out of the accounts.
If you talk to Darren Scott at all from HCR,
Not
I-
recently.
Okay. I just find, I don't think that they're gonna be making decisions by the end of February, but maybe I'm wrong. I just think it's too close to the end of the state fiscal year and the budget being passed and,
We just assume that any date that we get from the state is not necessarily gonna be accurate, but yeah, I didn't know what you just heard.
Right, right.
You know, I don't think you're gonna hear from them that isn't the date, I just think they're not gonna meet it, and then sometime in March or April, we'll.
Right,
It's
there will be no
crazy
decision
when
made,
they're
right.
trying to get the budget done, and if they need, because they didn't just apply for tax credits, they applied for housing trust fund, and it's probably in the state budget.
Oh, right. Well, of course, whenever you're talking about state deadlines, the line between optimism and naivete is pretty blurred.
Very good. I like that. Well said. I do want to say, though, that the meeting that we had with Benaccio went very well. I know I missed our last meeting, but they do want to move forward and will move forward, and they don't want us to lose the insurance coverage on the building. And so they are going to do some work with us. Exactly the details of that and how they're going to do it are yet, but they were appreciative of our position and wanted to start work and are feeling comfortable about the HCR tax credit and where we are and the work we've done with the governor and ESD, and so it went well. It's they want to do the work and they're going to find a way to do it because and they just kind of discovered, I think we mutually discovered that there's an interest here for them to begin work so that they don't lose coverage on the property. And so it went, it was a good meeting, very productive. And they are all indications that they are in on all this.
And I think they shared with you or with Jeff their applications.
They did.
You have that too.
I do have
Do you have
the full application.
And said that we'd be happy to give us anything more that we might want. So it was as good of a meeting as you can, that we could have hoped for.
Yeah.
So there is no, I didn't get the sense that, that there was something else, that they were looking for a reason. I believe that they're intending to do this project, and I mean it. So I just wanted you to know that, because we've wondered, right? It's tough. It's a tough market, and there are other people stopping everywhere. Anyway, they've gotten calls from the governor's office. They want, as well as we want. Everybody's watching this, and they're encouraged by the additional money into HCR for this region, and so anyway, positive news for us. That's that it, Jeff, for the report? That's great. Any other business? I don't believe we need to go into executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Do we have a second?
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got it?
8:30.